Hey Denny, how you doing, man?
Hungry.
I see. I mean, you did tell me just before we started recording that you just had your dinner. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine you are actually that hungry.
No, I'm quite hungry. It wasn't that fulfilling, to be honest. But
Oh, what did you have?
I had chili.
Oh, yum.
Yep, I'm gonna have some more when I'm done with this.
When I'm done with this shit, I'm gonna have some more chili.
When I'm done with this bollocks.
I had a smoked tofu goulash because I am devastatingly pretentious.
Yeah, that was the only word that came to my head. It was like all other words were banished. And
I know.
Oh man. But unless you couldn't tell, which I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. It's in the title. Fuck's sake. We are doing Doctor Who season 2 episode 8, The Idiot's Lantern, and it was
Indeed.
written. It was written by Mark Gatiss, directed by Eurus Lynn, and it's starring David Tennant, Billy Piper, Maureen Lipman, Ron Cook, Jamie Connolly, and Deborah Gillett.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
You got an opening statement?
I do.
Cheeky or otherwise?
Oh, it's very cheeky.
Lovely.
A really strange episode with actual interesting concepts when it comes to the way Britain was at during the time period, and then they completely do a 180. So
Oh, are you not a fan of this?
no, not really.
Oh, I really like it. Bloody good sci-fi. Cosmic horror concept packaged. Sorry, this is fucking orange ink. I can't read it for shit. Cosmic horror concept packaged in a peculiar setting, twisted by greater understanding.
Oh,
Does that make any kind of sense? I actually quite like this episode. It's one of my favourites.
oh fuck.
Do you? This might be the first time it's our first fight.
And I'm gonna win. But no, I see. I do. It's down to execution, right? Because
Okay.
just to start off, I really like the very sort of 1950s stiff upper lip, sort of unsettling. Yeah, everything's fine when it's clearly fucking not. Do you know what I mean? I like that sort of tone that it has throughout it. You get that with The Wire, where it's like this creepy, friendly sort of hello, but underneath there's really something quite fucking sinister. And
Yeah.
everyone's very hush hush. It's very the Little England sort of mentality. Everyone's sort of keeping to themselves, and people are disappearing.
It's the greater good. The what's it? Fucking Hot Fuzz. It's kind of that in a weird way.
Yeah, a little bit,
People
yeah.
are disappearing in the streets and nobody's saying anything about it.
Yeah, but I really really like that aspect of it, and The Wire's sort of characterization from like the start to like halfway through is really it's that very sort of motherly, sort of weird, sort of not bad, but not like you just feel a bit off, you know. But then she starts shouting "hungry" and "feed me" for fucking half an hour, and it just it takes the wind out of it a wee bit for me.
Oh, I actually kind of liked that. I thought it was like, you know, when you've got like, best way I can describe it is like when you've got like a dog or something, and you sort of pick up the dog's leash to take it on a walk, and it's like, oh my god, we're going on a walk, but it still knows to stand still enough that you can put the leash on the dog. And so it's still maintaining enough composure for that to happen. And then it's outside and it's like, oh my god, there's a squirrel. Oh my god, there's grass. I am shitting myself with joy. This is the most incredible thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of view The Wire throughout the episode. At the start, we say she. Okay, we'll get to that later. But
Yeah.
the Wire, their characterization is like, at the start, they're obviously very sort of composed and making all these different components and bits and bobs and stuff. But then it's almost as though they're sort of driven mad by hunger, and they're so close to getting to this sort of infinite buffet of human minds to feast on and all this sort of stuff. I actually really like it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's like a really good way of like quantifying like what sort of opinion's better. I really like the sort of creepy undercurrent, sort of almost like a sort of really sort of passive aggressive nanny. I really like that sort of invasive but with a friendly face sort of thing. I really liked that aspect of it. And then to just start shouting hungry, I was just a bit, yeah, what are you doing? You know, I get what they were going for. They're obviously like desperate to eat and feast on like human beings. But I think there's a better way of doing that than just literally just repeating hungry and feed me for like the last 20 minutes of the. But I don't know.
I think maybe it would have been better if there's a word for it that I've forgotten. But you know when you repeat a word so much that you can't, the word sort of loses all meaning. Or you repeat it or write it or type it or whatever so many times, it just ceases to mean anything.
Yeah.
If they had her say hungry enough that it wasn't sort of, it was no longer the word hungry with the associated connotations. She was just like saying grrr, just making noises with her mouth. Do you know what I mean?
I mean
I think maybe if.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to.
Sorry, no, I was waiting for you.
Oh, so nice. But no, The Wire isn't my biggest problem with this episode. That's just like
okay. Okay, well, hang on. Before we move on from The Wire, I want to quickly jump in and stab you in the throat and push you over and jump to the pedestal. The thing I like about The Wire is that we never really see their true face. We don't know what they look like. We don't know what they sound like.
Yep.
We don't know what they are. Because it's sort of, oh, well, I was murdered, and now I'm an ethereal being of gas or electricity or plasma or whatever.
Yeah.
I really, really like that, and it's something that very rarely gets done, ever. It's one of those things that every now and then you'll see in an episode of Star Trek, there'll be an alien that's like, oh yeah, well, my dad was actually a ball of gas. It's like, oh, can we meet them? No. We're going to meet my mother instead, who looks suspiciously like a human in a rubber suit. And you go, oh, okay, well, that's a bit underwhelming. And but I like the idea that like it's just some entity that we know nothing about at all that's just taken the form of the end of the broadcast day lady. Do you know what I mean? I really like that cosmic horror side of it. Is like the only thing we know is that we don't know anything about this character.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I love all that sort of aspect of it. I'm a big fan of cosmic horror. I'm a big fan of the sort of leaving it to the unknown. It just felt a little bit on the nose for me. How can we portray this creature is very hungry? We could have a shout hungry for 20 minutes. And that's the only thing. Like, I love the sort of mystery about it. It's just using this image to project itself, and like it's in a creepy sort of friendly way. And see if it was going to do the hungry thing, fine, but don't have it being like just this like actress from like the 1950s. Maybe like if it showed itself a bit more, that the mask began to slip or something like that. That would be a bit more interesting. But you know,
I know what you mean, but I also disagree. I think this is one of the rare occasions where I think we both like it for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think I like that it physically can't show its face. I like that it's kind of restrained by the things around it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I kind of like that idea.
Well, there you go. We're just gonna have to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
I'll kill you later. Don't worry. I would say my biggest issue with this episode is the character of Eddie.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you've seen the episode, I mean, I don't know why you would be listening to this if you haven't. If you've seen the episode, Eddie is the man of the house, and he's a piece of shit who treats his son, his wife, and his mother-in-law like fucking just nothings, and has no respect for them, and he's a bit cartoonish, bit over the top, but he hits very sort of clearly that very sort of toxic male sort of self-entitlement of the 1950s, where, you know, these guys have went to war and they've come back and they expect their house to be in order and they expect, you know, their boy to keep quiet. So very good sort of parallels with that sort of side of it. And as the episode goes on, it becomes more and more sort of irredeemable, which is good. It's like you know, who's the real villain of the story? Is it this horrible alien creature? Is it this really toxic person who's making everyone miserable around them? I like that sort of aspect of it, and it goes to the sort of creepy undertone of something being wrong. Like, even though the alien has been dealt with, there's still a lot of shit under the surface of this sort of society. And Rita, who's the mother of the house, eventually has enough and says, "Get the fuck out," and rightly fucking kicks him out. And everything seems to be okay. And we see him sort of begrudgingly sort of walking off, and then Rose, for some fucking reason, says, "Go to him. He's your dad." And then Tommy fucking runs to him and somehow
ends up carrying his suitcase.
Yeah, it's all fucking reconciled. No, this isn't a complicated sort of family drama of like two people on each side. This is a fucking toxic person who should not be taken back at all. And the fact that the episode have framed it this way, different story if Rose has just said, "Oh, I have, my thing with my dad, I think you should give him a second chance." But the episode makes it as if that's the right thing to do.
And everything's better now. Yeah.
Fuck that, cut him off.
If you literally snipped that last bit off the episode, I think it would have improved that whole storyline a 1,000,000%.
I would have liked it a lot better.
It's one of my great frustrations is that phrase, "Oh well, they are your dad, or they are your parents, or they are your..."
That.
No, well that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. And on this theme, I think I've said this before in the podcast, but that phrase, "blood is thicker than water," actually means the opposite of what you think it means.
Yeah.
The actual full phrase is, "the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." So it literally means your found family is more important than your blood relatives.
Correct.
And I couldn't agree more with that statement. And the frustration I have looking at the father and son relationship in this is that it's sort of implied that it's the son's fault.
Yeah.
That his dad was such a bell end. It's like, well, hang on.
Yeah.
The burden of maintaining a good relationship between a parent and a child should never fall on the child.
No, absolutely
not. Up until that point, it was making a very, not sophisticated, but a very well said point about, okay, maybe traditional family values aren't the right thing to do. Maybe they don't work all the time. Maybe we should try something else. And then it's just, when everything's back to normal. Well, it was a cheap ending. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I don't, and it's not coming from a place of you can tell that the writing isn't coming from a place of traditional values must always work. I think it's a very naive sort of, they're a bit. They're a bit bad, but they're your family at the end of the day. You can't turn back on your It's like, no. If you've got a family member or someone close in your life that's making you miserable and is toxic as fuck, you are within your rights to cut that person off if it's just not working. Do you know what I mean? So don't. Do you know what I mean? When this first came out, I would probably have been nodding along when I was a kid, thinking that's okay. It's not okay, folks. Okay. But yeah, that was the main issue, because they did so well with the sort of commentary and that sort of side of it, being in that sort of time period, and then just to completely walk back in it is fucking stupid.
I completely agree. Excuse me. The thing I do keep thinking about with this is that I think I tend to view morality, at least in this sort of sense, like your day-to-day moral choices and stuff. I think humans, their inherent characteristic is changeability. Yeah. I think inherently humans are likely to change. So, if we're being generous and kind in the world, then we should say humans are likely to change for the better. But that doesn't mean that humans always will change for the better. I think give people a chance to change for the better, and if they deliberately, over several occasions, choose the worst path that makes them more toxic to people around them, that's not a good person. Do you know what I mean? That is a toxic person.
Yeah. No.
That's Danny and I have spoken about The Good Place. The I think it was a Netflix original series with Kristen Bell and Ted Danson and loads of other people. And that's the core sort of thing of their morality that they settle on in that show, is people are inherently changeable. So when you remove all of the extraneous things from their lives and just bring it right down to this core idea of, okay, which choice will they deliberately make? Will they deliberately, consistently make a good, morally positive choice to bring good to people's lives? Or will they deliberately make a poor choice to bring suffering and misery to other people's lives?
Yep.
And then, because that's the core of it, I think, and I think that's the core of, I think, how I view a lot of morality in both my real life and in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree completely. I also like the fact that it doesn't seem to just be like the dad being the problem. It's like the gran, or I don't know who that woman was, because there was the gran that got her face taken off, and then there's another old woman who's sitting with them.
Auntie Hilda or something, yeah.
Yeah, who was like, oh, you better smack that out of him, sort of thing. It's like, holy shit. Rita and Tommy just need to fucking get out of there. They just need to go.
Because...
Fuck these people. I mean, it's like, no, definitely not.
Because the implication was that, because she said, oh, well, he's a right little mother's boy, in every sense of the word. Oh, well, you know what they say about them. I don't know what they say about them, but I presume they say that they will turn out to be gay when they get older. So they are literally sat in their living room saying, well, you need to beat the gay out of him. What? Yep. And what? Cut off fucking Auntie Hilda as well while you're at it.
Exactly. And that's good sort of like satire. Well, not satire, like commentary. Yeah, it's like, that's the way a lot of people thought back then, and to a large extent still do. But it's important to sort of shine a light on that very sort of these horrible sort of norms that we have that we just accept. Like, I know family members who say horrible shit, and you're just supposed to go, oh, that's our Uncle Eddie. I mean, it's like, fuck that. No, it's not acceptable, and it never will be. And it's like, you're just supposed to keep a hush on it, and that's just him, He's just that kind of guy. It's like, no, fuck off.
No, I know what you mean. I disagree with that concept in a lot of ways. I think I don't think I was raised to be argumentative. I think that might be putting too fine a point on it. I think I was always raised with the questioning. I was encouraged to question things, I think, and that always meant that at Christmas and at days out and stuff, if I did have a family member that said something a bit weird or a bit offensive or whatever it might be, I'd say, "Why do you think that?" And then I would just have an argument with them in the car when I was like 6, and they'd be like, "Shut up, Lewis." Think critically and cut off toxic people is my advice. Yep. Cheers to that.
Yep. If you're at dinner, like a family dinner, right, and a family member or a relative says something that you know is fucking disgusting, fucking make them uncomfortable. Ask them.
Yeah.
Fucking point it out and don't let the sort of assumed sort of awkwardness of it and everyone just has to move on from it stop you. No, just say it and just say, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about? Because this is all, it's all from a place of ignorance. So when you question it, it all falls away, and then it's them that look like a fucking idiot rather than you having to sit and listen to it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nonsense.
I know, it is indeed nonsense. And now that we've set the world to rights, I would like to introduce you to one of my greatest pet peeves.
Go on.
It seems to be a thing that only people with English accents, or people that are putting on English accents, do. I have never heard anybody do it with an American accent, or a Scottish accent, or a Welsh accent, or anything.
Right.
There's a bit in this show when Eddie Connolly, is that the dad?
Yeah.
He stood in the living room and he says, "Well, I am talking," and he's shouting at the doctor. And David Tennant stands up and says, "Well, I'm not listening." And he does that on the end of his word. I cannot describe to you how much I hate that. I have no idea why, but I hate it so much. Every time it happens in a sitcom or a drama or even an interview, I hate it. And I make a mental note that I dislike that person a little bit more just because of that one thing. I know it's incredibly petty, but I really hate it. I really hate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shatter the illusion on this one. There's a film called Pirates of the Caribbean. A series of films called The Pirates of the Caribbean.
Are there?
Yeah, and there's, I like actors, like famous actors that do that. Let's see when they say, "Yeah, I was on a TV show called Game of Thrones." Like, I like that. I like the sort of, they don't assume that you know what they're talking about. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's a humbleness. I like that. But yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say. I thought you were about to do it yourself then, and say that was something that you did. Sorry. Go on.
What do you mean?
I thought you were going to do the listening thing and say, "Oh, that's something I do in my day-to-day life." Sorry. Go on.
No. No, but there's got a Scottish accent. No, there's a character called Davy Jones, who's played by
Yes.
Bill Nye, and
I love Bill Nye.
he does do that like quite a lot. He'll say like "full forward into the abyss," like that, and it's like, why
hate that so
why are you
much.
going at the end of it? Let no
I think
joyful
that's-
voice be heard. It's like, fuck what?
Yeah. Thing is, I know it's petty, and I know it doesn't make any sense, but I genuinely hate it so much. There's another episode of Doctor Who where that one where my good friend Steve starts show running, and then it's Amy and Rory's wedding, and Raggedy Man, you are late for my wedding. So, fuck off!
You're late for
not
my
how actual-
wedding. Yeah.
Because I've never heard anybody say it in actual real life.
No.
So it must just be a thing that people do when they're being filmed,
Yeah.
which makes it even more bizarre. And I hate it so much. I don't. If there are any linguists listening to this podcast, please let us know why people do this, because it genuinely boils my blood. I hate it.
I mean, it's a fair criticism, to be fair. Another criticism, well, not really a criticism, more of an observation, is I like the sort of, you can tell that Rose and the Doctor are going to get their comeuppance very soon with the way they sort of deal with situations now. They're very sort of, they have a great deal of levity. They don't take it too seriously.
They're
And
very
it's-
blasé, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, that's what's going to get you stuck on a beach.
Yeah.
know?
Like when Clara died to a raven, and shortly before that she was dangling out of the TARDIS going, "Woo! I'm about to die, woo hey!"
Yeah, it's like, oh.
And that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even anywhere near Clara yet, but I don't really like Clara very much.
I do. Do you know what I
That
like?
thing is-
I do like
Sorry,
her
go on.
relationship with Capaldi.
Yes, I like her relationship with Capaldi, and I like her relationship with Matt Smith. Not as much, but I do like them both. But on the same level, a lot of the times Clara says lines, and I think, it's the same as the wedding thing.
Yeah.
It just makes me go, it makes me cringe.
I
really don't know what it is.
Yeah, I do have a lot of notes for that sort of era of Doctor Who, but as usual, we'll get to that.
Indeed we will. Indeed we will. I am running low on notes. I've got that's a fucking tall room. The living room that they were in was really fucking tall.
Yeah.
They were like angled up at Mr. Connolly, and there was no ceiling in sight. So I don't know what the fuck's up with that house, but it's a big house.
Get a nice house. Get a nice house. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just like he's a very small man, and it just looks big.
That's a good point.
But then David Tennant's quite tall, so.
He is quite tall. This is true.
But yeah, why isn't the Doctor dead?
What?
Look, his face is getting
Should he
taken
be?
off. His face is getting taken off. He pulls out his sonic screwdriver. He's armed and clever. Withdraw. Withdraw. What the fuck? What is he gonna do? Does that Why didn't he just do that from the beginning instead of let her talk for 20 minutes and then go,
Yeah,
oh
that's a
my
good point.
face? I don't know. I mean,
Haven't you heard, Danny? You're pronouncing it wrong. The doctor's tool that he takes out of his jacket. It's pronounced the Ex Machina device. Are you not aware of that?
do you want to know? Do you want to hear a potential hot take, Lewis?
Hit me with a hot take.
Mark Gatiss propagates many of the same flaws that Stephen Moffat does, except Stephen Moffat is just really good at writing dialogue.
Yeah. I think you're accurate with that.
There you
I
go.
think Mark Gatiss' episodes are either really good or... Well, I mean, I know you don't like this episode, but I do, so fuck off. This episode, I really liked it, but then... What was that other episode he did in a much more recent series, where they were, like, on a spaceship with the... You know, that one episode of Doctor Who where they're on a spaceship.
Oh yeah, that
obviously.
one. That
and it's
diamond
the sleep
in the rough.
pods. The sleep pods where you go in and then all the monsters made out of the sand that accumulates in the corner of your eye.
Oh,
Which is just
yeah.
mucus, by the way. It's not just. It's not
Sleep.
like There is no actual Sandman. It is just mucus from your body.
Yeah, Sleep No More, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's the one. But then I watched that and thought, well, this is a bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember thinking it wasn't very good. But I think that's a good example of he's sort of Stephen Moffat light in a strange way. Of like, there's a lot of obscure world building-y things, which on the surface of it you go, oh, nice. But then you think, well, you could have expanded on that a bit more. Like, the soldier in that episode who's like a big sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a grunt, and they're like big, strong soldier who carries a big gun and like opens big, heavy doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this one throwaway line, was like, oh, they're cloned in batches or something. That's an interesting piece of world building that's thrown into a script.
Yeah.
But you could have, if you want to expand on that, you could make an entire series about growing clones of. I mean, again. Inverted commas, the perfect soldier or whatever. You could make an entire series of sci-fi about that.
But they won't.
So, no, they won't.
They won't.
Instead, Chris Chibnall's going to give the 13th Doctor a big novelty-sized pepper grinder and fill it full of gold bars. That's what's coming next.
You know, if you've ever seen the interviews with Sherlock about Mark Gatiss as a writer, there's a quote when he's talking about Moriarty. He says, Moriarty is self-consciously a villain. He knows what he's doing. He's a nutcase. Yeah.
Which one of those?
See, when you're self-conscious about something, you're right, you genuinely do know what you're doing. But then to follow up with nutcase, it's like, I don't think he knows how those words differ. So
No, it's like waking up and saying, "I'm going to choose chaos today," and just making all of your decisions based on random chance.
Yeah, without realizing that choosing anything just subverts chaos. But there you go.
No, I mean, I know you've spoken before about Stephen Moffat's dialogue writing skills, and I know what you mean. But I disagree. I think it's hard to write good dialogue. It's easy to write okay, serviceable dialogue. Mm-hmm. And I think Stephen Moffat writes okay, serviceable dialogue with the occasional good speech thrown in. I don't think he's like the next great dialogue writer. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I think he's pretty good at writing dialogue, and I think that's the only thing that sort of puts the sort of illusion up. You know, like he can sort of make a bad idea sound pretty clever, but when you think about it for a couple of seconds, you're like, oh, wait, that doesn't make any sense. It's just like, it just sounds really clever, but it doesn't. It's like every story ever told happened. Memories are where we go to. It's like, I can't remember the end of the quote, but it's so fucking stupid when you think about it. But it just sounds pretty clever because. You know, Peter Capaldi's saying it, and he's got a guitar, and it's in a desert. So it's pretty, but that's my opinion.
No, I do see what you mean. I think I got my wires crossed. I think his descriptive dialogue is good. I do agree with you there. Things like that Silence in the Library episodes where he was talking about, your basic humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs and a face, that kind of thing. It's very throwaway, explainy type dialogue, and I think that's good. I think his conversational dialogue is perhaps slightly less good, but I don't know. But I think, as always, with most of Stephen Moffat's Doctor Who, it's like, oh yeah, Peter Capaldi and Matt Smith and Jenna Coleman and Karen Gillan and everybody, they're doing excellent work with what they're given, and then you find out that what they're given perhaps isn't quite as good as it could be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, we're still in Russell T Davies's era, and like we complain more about Stephen Moffat than we do. Oh, but yeah, that's because Russell T Davies's era is normally quite good, but this episode wasn't. Fight me.
I know what you mean. I think, it's like making a fantastic, delicious marinara sauce, and then pouring pesto onto it or something. It's like, yeah, you had really good base, and every now and then you might get a teaspoonful of great sauce.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, this is just tastes like nuts and basil. What the fuck is wrong with it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like having a really complicated, well-made dish and then just like throwing like a chocolate cake at it. It's like, oh, it's sweet and nice and all that. It just doesn't fucking mix with what's going on though. It's like, it's just too happy ending, you know? It should be a bittersweet ending where it's like, yeah, that toxic piece of shit's out of your life, but don't invite him back in because this, you know, woman that you've never met before says he's your dad. Go to him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's really stupid.
If they'd have said on... Yeah, that is super stupid. If they'd have said on the... If at the end it had been the dad walking off and Rose would have said, maybe give him a couple of weeks and go and see him. I didn't know my dad very much and I wish I knew him more. Maybe it'd be worth giving him another go. Then, okay, maybe, because then you're still leaving the ball in the son's court. You can go and see his dad and go, oh, actually, no, he's kind of a bellend. I'm not going to see him again. You're still... Just see what I mean? It's the fact that Rose kind of took the choice out of his hand in a weird way.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even... I think it should... Like, I think that him just walking away and them sort of like turning away from him and like looking towards the future would probably just be better. Like, it's like... Yeah, giving people second chances is like good, but like this guy, he was like cartoonishly like evil to the point where it was just like, I mean, I don't even like believe in evil as like a concept, but if ever there was, it's like, it's just this guy. He's just a piece of shit. But you know, that's where we disagree, I guess.
No, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I've run out of notes. I have one note here, by the way. This isn't very important, but I'm going to say it anyway. I was eating some crisps while I made notes for this episode, and at one point I decided that I was going to eat a crisp while making a note. So I used my left hand to write the note, and my right hand, which is my dominant hand, to eat the crisp. So it looks like it's been written by a child. Do they choose what on the ston ever?
What?
What do you think? Do they choose what on the ston ever? What do you think?
What are you trying to say?
I've got no fucking idea, do I? Because look at this. I mean, you can't look at it, but I wrote this note and I've got no idea what it means.
Do they choose?
What's on the screen? I've got no idea.
I don't know. We'll relegate that to the bin. But I think about the notes.
That's some good material for the cutting room floor.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep it in because we're very lazy.
We're endearingly lazy. That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, God.
Yes, I am.
Thank God that we don't let brand ourselves as like one of these essay reviewer types. You know, we're literally a bit of commentary and a bit of fucking self-deprecation. That's it. That's our formula. Don't copy it.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I have run out of notes.
Yes, as have I.
Excellent. Have you got a closing statement then?
Yep. TV bad. Hungry. Feed me. There you go.
Well, would you look at that? Doctor Who invented Call the Midwife a decade early.
Oh, amazing.
Have you ever watched Call the Midwife?
I haven't. I know that a very good actor that I'm fond of, Miriam Margolyes, is in it.
Yes, she is in it very briefly. She plays the head of the nunnery.
Oh,
Nonatus,
nice.
The Order of Nonatus House. Yeah. We have actually watched the whole thing in our house.
Would you recommend it?
It was on Netflix. No.
Oh.
There are some good episodes where they deal with very interesting things and do it very well, but there are also some episodes that are a bit.
And you watched all of it?
Well, Chloe put it on, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. We sort of watched through it because there are roughly an equal number of good episodes and bad episodes. I mostly was playing like Stardew Valley at the same time as Chloe was watching it, but the good episodes I did put it down and sort of join in the watching. Like, for example, most of the really good episodes have got the Doctor in them. They've got David Tennant in them. No, the Doctor played by Stephen McGann. He features quite heavily in some of the best episodes. And there's essentially it's things like like we know now in the 21st century that there's this specific drug which helps an awful lot with morning sickness, but also can lead to genetic problems with the babies that are born. They can be born deformed and stuff. So obviously we do not use this drug now. But in the 40s, when Call the Midwife is set, they discovered this drug and were like, God, this is bloody good, isn't it? It gets rid of morning sickness completely. Let's bloody use it.
Yeah.
So the doctor was prescribing this medication to these expectant mothers, and then he was delivering lots of like deformed children. And he was like, what the fuck is going on? This
Jesus.
is like, this is literally hell. And then he had this letter from NHS High Command or whatever, and they said, oh, right, do not prescribe any more of this drug. And he had to have, like, a moral chat with himself of, like, if nobody actually knows what they're doing, what's the point in me being a doctor at all? And that was, like, a really good episode, because he had to deal with this sort of, like... He had this, not quite... I want to call it a crisis of faith, but he's not a vicar. Do you know what I mean? It's like a crisis in belief.
Moral quandary.
Yeah, and he had to, like, deal with that and grow as a person, and that was really good. But there are also some episodes that are less good. Like, I remember there was one where this one character's entire arc for the episode was that she'd gotten a haircut and didn't like it, and then grew to like it.
Wow.
Yeah, really good, isn't it? But there are also other good episodes. It's worth looking up what are the best episodes of Call the Midwife and then watching them. But not all of it is worth watching. Yeah. Although, right, one last thing I'm going to say about Call the Midwife, because somehow we've fucking come on to this.
We're reviewing this
topic
now.
of conversation. I was really impressed with the 2020 Christmas special because they filmed it while doing social distancing and stuff, and I didn't notice. They did like a lot of clever sort of camera trickery and angles and stuff. I did not notice throughout a lot of it. At no point was I going, oh, those people are stood like 6 feet apart. Why is that? And I was really impressed by that. I mean, I doubt like many director of photography are listening to this episode of the podcast, but I think it is. I was dead impressed by that. So that's good, I suppose.
That is good. Well, I'm gonna give it a watch now. You know, I'm always.
Mate, there's like 8 seasons or 9 seasons of Call the Midwife. Right?
Oh, maybe not then. But yeah, I'm always looking for things to hate. Always looking for things to be angry at. Needlessly angry at. But anyway, let's do some horrible, pointless capitalist shilling, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
I'm on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K. Actor. I'm at Twitter at Kerzo2000. What are you on, Lewis?
I'm on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4. And I have a Facebook page called Lewis Brindley. Furthermore, the show has a Facebook page called Shouting Into the Void. And the show also has an Instagram page called @ShoutingIntoTheVoidPod. You can give us a follow. You can give us a like. You can write on our wall. Yep. Which is something that they always say in sitcoms and stuff, but I don't actually know what it means. Do you know what it means?
Right in our what? What sitcoms say
right
that?
On our Facebook. Just like things set when Facebook was having a big boom. And they're like, oh, right on our Facebook wall.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Okay, but what does that actually mean? I don't know what that means.
I think that's just the page. Like, just...
Oh. Well, right on our Facebook wall. If you know how to do that, do it and let us know.
Yeah, I don't even know if people can.
Oh, well... Have a go and let us know if you can't.
Yeah.
And we'll panic.
We're on Podomatic, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we have a YouTube channel, we're on Deezer, we're on Google Podcasts, and we're on Amazon Podcasts. We have a PayPal donate button. What?
As I just said, yes, we are.
Oh, right. It just sounded like... It sounded as if you'd ordered a assassination hit or something like that. We have a PayPal donate button. So anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to thank our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
And Natalie.
Thank you, one and all. You make the show possible, and you enable us to do all the sorts of cool things that we love to do. So thank you very, very much.
Definitely. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We sell tote bags, we sell jumpers, we sell all sorts. Go have a look, see what interests you, and see what doesn't. Yeah, so there you go.
See what interests you, see what doesn't. Send us furious letters about it, please.
Yes. We are partnered with a fantastic company called Right Side Yarns, and we have an advert for them that we are going to play you. It's the best advert in the world. It's won multiple Oscars, and we're going to play it for you now.
Danny, I've got some amazing news.
Oh, really? What?
I'm going to make you a hat.
Thanks. But why?
Well, because Right Side Yarns, who sell beautiful and unique wool, have recently released a new range.
Oh, I've heard of them. Aren't they that fantastic Scottish business that sells high-quality hand-dyed products perfect for crafting with?
They certainly are, and they're sponsoring the show.
Really? Have they heard the show?
Yes, and apparently they like it. Kezia, the owner of the business, has given us a generous 15% off code for any of our listeners to use.
Is that why you've got Void 15 written in your hand?
It is! If you or any of our listeners would like to use the code, simply enter Void15 at checkout with a capital V.
Great! Where do I check out?
You can go to their website at rightsideyarns.co.uk or check them out on Instagram at Kezia_rightsideyarns.
Fantastic! This hat you're making me better be good. Oh, that is
amazing.
That was beautiful.
You know, I think that actually beats that advert that Ridley Scott directed for Apple. I think it's actually better than that.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yep, all the adverts, we win.
Yep, we win the advert awards.
Yep.
We win an Appley. Oh, from...
What the fuck is that?
Are you unaware of an Appley from Rick and Morty when Jerry's like, oh, it should be nominated for an award based specifically for commercials based around apples? Mm-hmm. Then he wins an Appley.
Oh, in the simulation?
Yes, yeah, the simulation.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Maybe
right.
we should win an Appley.
This shilling is going on way too fucking long. Okay, so check them out. They're absolutely fantastic. Please check them out. We are also partnered with another fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them without talking about the simulator and Rick and Morty, all of which are absolutely true.
I am indeed going to talk about that. My wonderful wife runs the wonderful company at Number 12 Crochet Avenue, which is, she crochets things and she's really good at it. And the Instagram feed that she runs and promotes and talks about and talks on, yeah, that's a word, is absolutely stunning. You should go and check it out. It's at Number 12 Crochet Avenue. It's all those letters, no numbers, no punctuation, none of that weird stuff. No, it's just good old letters. Go and take a look at the most beautiful Instagram feed you will see today. Go and take a look. Thank you.
Definitely. Well, that was Doctor Who, The Idiot's Lantern, and I believe it's the start of one of my favourite two-parters in the entire history of the show.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's where they go to the thingy with the thing, the black hole place.
The Impossible Planet, I believe, is the title you were searching for.
No, I think it's the thingy with the thingy. I think I got... sorry, yeah, I've just Googled it. The thingy with the thingy. Yep, that's the one.
Yep, that's the one. Written by Thingy and...
the thingy.
Yeah, it's set in the Lorax's universe. And no, but yeah, so that should be interesting. Who doesn't love a bit of cosmic horror with Satan? Hey?
Oh yeah, who doesn't love a bit of Satan? That's certainly how I live my life. Who doesn't love a bit of Satan? I've been banned from many churches.
Lewis Brindley, the hardcore Satanist. Oh God!
Yeah, that's me.
But there you go. So we will see you, hear you. Cut out all toxic people from your life. No joke. Please fucking do that next time.
Mm-hmm. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening.
Cheers.